Everybody grows up hearing the same advice. Go to school, get a degree, find a stable job, and work hard for the rest of your life. Society tells you that a good salary is the ultimate goal. Parents believe it. Teachers repeat it. Companies depend on it. And for years, most people never question it. But one day, reality hits. You realize that despite working harder than ever, you still feel financially stuck. The paycheck arrives, bills get paid, and somehow there's never enough left over. You work overtime, sacrifice weekends, and push yourself to exhaustion hoping that eventually life will become easier. But for most people, it never does, because your salary was designed to help you survive, not become wealthy. That truth is difficult to accept because almost everyone has been conditioned to believe the opposite. We've been taught that the answer to financial problems is simply earning more money. So people spend decades chasing raises and promotions, believing the next paycheck increase will finally change their lives. But look around carefully. There are people earning $50,000 a year, struggling financially. There are also people earning $200,000 a year, still trapped in debt and stress. Why? Because income alone does not create wealth. If salary made people rich, every doctor, lawyer, engineer, and executive would already be financially free. But many high-income earners are still living paycheck to paycheck. They may look successful on the outside, but internally they are under pressure every single month. The reason is simple. A salary rewards time, not freedom. You trade your hours, your energy, and your life for money. And no matter how high the salary becomes, there's always a limit. Because your time is limited, you can only work so many hours in a day. That's a trap most people never escape. The wealthy understand something completely different. They know that real wealth is not built by working harder forever. It's built by creating systems, assets, and ownership that continue producing money long after the work is done. That's why rich people focus on leverage. Leverage allows you to multiply results without multiplying effort forever. A business uses systems and employees. Investments use money to make more money. Content reaches millions online. Real estate generates income monthly. Meanwhile, the average worker depends entirely on one paycheck. And that dependency is dangerous. Because if your income stops tomorrow, what happens? Most people would panic within weeks. Bills would pile up. Stress would increase. Fear would take over. That's not freedom. That's financial vulnerability. The scary part is many people spend their entire lives in this position without realizing it. They become comfortable inside the cycle. Wake up, work, pay bills, sleep, repeat. Years pass quickly. Dreams get delayed. Goals become smaller. Freedom feels impossible. And slowly, survival becomes normal. This is exactly why so many people feel exhausted, even when they're earning more than ever before. The issue isn't only income, it's a lack of ownership. Ownership changes everything. When you own assets, your money can continue growing even when you're not physically working every hour. That's why wealthy people obsess over building businesses, investing, buying assets, and creating multiple streams of income. They understand that relying on one source of income is risky. Imagine building your entire future on a single paycheck controlled by someone else. One company decision, one recession, or one economic crisis could change your entire life overnight. That's why financial education matters so much. Unfortunately, schools rarely teach it. Most education systems train people to become employees, not owners. You learn how to follow schedules, obey instructions, and work for someone else's goals. Almost nobody teaches you how money actually works. Nobody teaches investing. Nobody teaches ownership. Nobody teaches leverage. Nobody teaches how wealthy people build freedom. And because of that, millions of people spend decades working hard without ever building real wealth. Then social media makes things even worse. People see luxury lifestyles everywhere, expensive cars, designer clothes, giant houses, and assume that appearance equals success. So they begin spending money trying to look rich instead of becoming rich. That's the lifestyle trap. The moment income rises, expenses rise too. A bigger paycheck becomes a bigger car payment, a nicer apartment, more subscriptions, more debt, more pressure. Instead of buying freedom, people buy status, and the bank benefits from it all. True wealth looks very different. Real wealth is not about impressing strangers online. It's about having options. Options to spend time with family. Options to travel. Options to leave toxic environments. Options to live life on your own terms. That kind of freedom cannot come from salary alone. It comes from discipline, ownership, patience, and long-term thinking. And here's the hard truth. Most people never become wealthy because they focus only on earning money instead of learning how to grow money. They spend years improving resumes, but never improve financial intelligence. They work hard for income, but never learn how to make income produce more income. That's why the rich continue getting richer, while average workers remain trapped in the cycle. The difference is mindset. Average people ask, how much does this pay me today? Wealthy people ask, how can this grow over time? That single shift in thinking can completely transform your future, because your salary may pay your bills, but ownership is what builds wealth. Most people believe that being rich is about earning a lot of money. That's why they spend years chasing promotions, working overtime, and sacrificing their health for bigger paychecks. They think the next raise will finally solve everything. But the truth is, higher income does not automatically create wealth. In fact, many people earning six figures are still financially stressed every single month. They have expensive lifestyles, huge bills, and constant pressure. On the outside, they look successful, but behind closed doors, they're trapped. That's because money without financial intelligence disappears quickly. A salary can increase your lifestyle, but it does not guarantee freedom. Freedom comes from control. Control over your time. Control over your decisions. Control over your future. And most employees never truly have that control because their survival depends on continuing to work. The moment they stop working, the money stops too. That's the difference between earned income and wealth-building income. Earned income requires your constant effort. Wealth-building income grows through ownership. This is why wealthy people think differently from the average person. They don't only ask, how much money can I make? They ask, how can I build something that continues producing money long-term? That mindset changes everything. Instead of spending every dollar they earn, wealthy people use money as a tool. They invest into assets that can grow over time. Businesses, stocks, real estate, brands, skills, systems, because every asset has the potential to produce future income. Meanwhile, most people spend money the moment they receive it. They upgrade lifestyles before building wealth. And this habit keeps them trapped for decades. Think about how society works. The moment someone gets a raise, they often celebrate by increasing expenses. They buy a more expensive car, move into a bigger apartment, start spending more on luxury items. Their income grows, but their freedom stays the same because expenses rise too. This is called lifestyle inflation, and it destroys millions of people financially. Instead of using extra income to buy assets, they buy liabilities, things that lose value and require continuous payments. That's why someone earning a moderate income with strong investments can become wealthier than someone earning a huge salary with poor financial habits. The wealthy understand delayed gratification. They are willing to sacrifice temporary comfort for long-term freedom. Average people want instant rewards. Wealthy people focus on future rewards. That difference may sound simple, but over time it creates completely different lives. One person spends every paycheck trying to impress others. Another person quietly invests and builds ownership. 10 years later, their lives look completely different. And here's something important. The system often encourages people to stay financially dependent. Why? Because dependent people are easier to control. When people fear losing their paycheck, they tolerate situations they hate. Toxic workplaces, stressful schedules, endless overtime. They sacrifice their peace because survival depends on income. But financial freedom changes your mindset completely. When you build savings, investments, and multiple income streams, fear starts disappearing. You stop making desperate decisions. You gain confidence because your entire life no longer depends on one employer. That's powerful. And today, opportunities are bigger than ever before. The internet changed the game completely. Years ago, Building wealth required huge connections or massive capital. Today, ordinary people can start businesses online, learn valuable skills for free, create content, invest with small amounts, and reach global audiences from their phones. But most people remain distracted. Distracted by entertainment, distracted by comfort, distracted by excuses. They spend hours scrolling social media, watching other people succeed, while doing nothing to change their own future. And that's dangerous because time moves fast. Every year you delay learning about money is another year spent depending entirely on active income. The wealthy know that time is more valuable than money because money can always be earned again, but lost time never returns. That's why successful people invest heavily in learning, improving skills, and building systems early. They understand that short-term sacrifice creates long-term freedom. And freedom should be the real goal, not flashy cars, not social media validation, not looking rich. Real wealth is peace of mind. It's waking up without financial panic. It's having options. It's being able to choose how you live your life. A high salary can help you start that journey, but it cannot finish it alone. Eventually, you must learn how to make money work for you instead of constantly working for money. That is a shift that changes everything. The people who become wealthy are not always the smartest or most talented. Often, they are simply the ones who understand one principle better than everyone else. Income alone will never create lasting wealth unless you turn that income into assets, ownership, and long-term growth. system to yourself. Because at the end of the day, your salary may help you survive, but it will never make you truly rich unless you learn how to turn earned income into lasting wealth. At the end of your life, nobody will care how many hours you spent answering emails, sitting in meetings, or stressing over deadlines for someone else's dream. The only thing that will matter is the life you created, the freedom you earned, and the legacy you built. That's why this conversation is bigger than money. It's about taking control of your future before time slips away. Too many people spend decades trapped in routines they secretly hate. Every Monday feels heavy. Every morning starts with stress. They wait all year for vacations that last 1 week, then return to lives they're desperate to escape. That is not freedom. That is survival disguised as stability. And the saddest part? Most people never realize there's another way. They believe financial freedom is only for celebrities, billionaires, or people born into wealth. But history proves otherwise. Many successful people started with nothing. No connections. No rich family. No perfect opportunities. What separated them from everyone else was mindset. They stopped seeing money as something to spend and started seeing it as something to grow. That's the shift. Because wealth is not built overnight. It's built decision by decision. Every dollar you waste a day could become an investment tomorrow. Every hour you spend distracted could have been spent learning a skill. Every excuse delays the future you claim you want. And the truth is brutal. Nobody is coming to save you. Not your boss. Not the government. Not society. Your future depends on the decisions you make right now. That's why financially successful people become obsessed with growth. They read books while others scroll endlessly on social media. They learn skills while others complain about life. They study investing while others spend money trying to impress strangers. Over time, that difference compounds. Small disciplined actions repeated for years create massive results. And understand this clearly. You do not need to become perfect to become wealthy. You simply need consistency. Consistency in learning. Consistency in investing. Consistency in improving yourself. Consistency in building. Most people underestimate how powerful 5 focus years can be. 5 years of discipline can completely transform your financial future. But most people never experience that transformation because they quit too early. They want fast success, fast money, fast results. But real wealth requires patience. A seed looks invisible before it becomes a tree. In the same way, your early efforts may not show immediate results. That doesn't mean progress isn't happening. Keep building, because one day, the skills you learn, the habits you develop, and the assets you build will start working in your favor. That's when life changes. You stop living paycheck to paycheck. You stop panicking about bills. You stop feeling trapped. And for the first time, you begin to experience something priceless. Peace. Not fake luxury for social media. Not temporary validation from strangers. Real peace. The peace of knowing your future is in your hands. That is true wealth. So yes, your salary can help you start. It can fund your first investment. It can support your journey. But your salary alone will never make you rich if every dollar only passes through your hands instead of building something bigger. The goal is not to work forever. The goal is to create freedom. Freedom for yourself. Freedom for your family. Freedom to wake up and choose how you live. And that journey begins the moment you stop thinking like an employee trapped in survival mode and start thinking like a builder, an owner, and an investor. Because rich people don't just earn money. They create systems that continue producing wealth long after the work is done. And the moment you understand that, your entire life changes forever.